Hi there, you guys. So my name is Hannah. I'm currently a student at Daytona State for cosmetology. Here you're going to be watching me kind of recreate this hairstyle from AHSOKA, or it is a very similar hairstyle to the one that Morgan Elsbeth has, who is one of the witches of Dathomir, or like the descendants of it. I realized very offhandedly, I want to say like earlier on in this class period, that the braids that I was doing seemed very similar, so I wanted to kind of catch it on video. Pulled up a few pictures of her hairstyle and was like, okay, cool, that's where I'm doing it from. And so I'm just gonna show you how to recreate something very similar to it. There was an instruction video that I had watched too on this type of hairstyle, I want to say about 3 or 4 weeks ago. Currently what I'm doing is I'm just taking out a couple of hair ties that were stuck in her hair from a previous like bubble braid that I'm doing. The moment that I get these out, I'll likely just brush the hair and then kind of get started in with that video and doing the braids for you. And so we are kind of going to do essentially like something like a drop French braids. So you'll see me once I get her hair kind of decently parted in a way that I like, while I am working on taking the hair in the front pieces and doing 3 sections and holding them with my fingers. And so from there what I will do is, once I have that hair sectioned, do 3 smaller sections from that large section that I've taken. We then do French braids, so we take the outer pieces and we fold them over the middle. And I do this process 2 or 3 times of just folding the outer over the middle, and from there I'll actually take a section and drop what I was using. So I'll drop what I was using and then take a new section and I will incorporate that into the braid. Now this process, I want to say, is very similar to the rope braid. I have not actively done those, nor do I really know how to do them, or like a waterfall braid is what I kind of want to say. So we'll continue with this process throughout the hair, like I said, taking a new section and then dropping the large section. And you may see my teacher in the background. I may end up covering her face a little bit, that way her privacy is assured. And so, yep, taking a new section, dropping what was being used, and then braiding that over the middle piece. And the hair that we are leaving out, we are going to be saving because we are going to be incorporating those braids onto the side. From here, I'm going to go ahead and speed things up just a little bit. And once I am finished with that particular section, I am going to tie it off in a hair tie, scrunchie, whatever have you. and then I'm going to start on the new end, and from here I'm going to essentially use the techniques for a cobra braid or a front lattice braid. So I'm still beginning the braiding sections like how I usually do it. It's a very simple French braid, and here I am talking to a classmate. I believe she was curious about what I was doing and then went back over because she didn't want to be necessarily recorded in the video itself. But from there, very simple French braid, and then I incorporate in the top piece the sections that were left out from the middle. And I am essentially picking up hair on the bottom like a normal and regular French braid, but I'm incorporating in the top, so in your left hand, that hair from the middle into the side. And so what I'm essentially doing here is I'm not even picking up any more additional hair to incorporate into the top side, because I've already left out hair for it from the middle braid, so that's not even something that I have to worry about. And it creates this really nice kind of like dimensional look with the braid, I find, once I get closer towards the back, and I feel like I've gathered enough hair. And this mannequin does have layers, so not everything's not going to look incredibly perfect. From there, I continue on with the braiding, braid a little bit past so I can then add in a hair tie, and you'll see me reach forward and grab one. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do what I just did. You don't want to open it with your mouth, because that is not a good habit to get into, but it is absolutely something that I do. 10 out of 10, don't recommend it. Not good for your teeth, especially if you see me using that with a bobby pin. Not a good habit. Don't do it. You will get docked on that for your practical when it comes to state. But you know it, right now it's all about getting those stamps, so whatever helps me kind of get things done the quickest. This particular hairstyle can get you a good amount of stamps pretty quickly. You're doing 3 different braids, 2 chignons, and it's on a curled base. So do with that information what you will if you're a fellow cosmetology student, or if you're looking forward to get one, so that could be up to 5 stamps if you work your magic right. And so with the left side that I'm doing now, it is very similar to how we did it on the other side, on the right side. So do your French braid, do your 2 to 3 rounds. Make sure you try and keep it as even as possible so it lines up. From there, you'll grab hair from the bottom and add it to the bottom section. And you're just going to take the hair that was left out of the middle and incorporate that as your top. So you're adding no new hair to the top, but you are adding new hair to the bottom like so. And you're continuing with that French braid. And I believe I heard somewhere that they were referred to as forever braids. I'm not quite too sure what the name of these braids are. I would probably call them something like infinity braids, just because of how they intertwine with each other. I feel like that makes a little bit more sense. And with this, once again, on the right or on the left side as well, my left, your right, whichever, braid out, continue onto the back, and then put it all into a hair tie. What we are going to be doing next, right, is we are going to be taking the 3 pieces that we have tied, and we are going to be just joining them into a ponytail. I'm so sorry if you see me abuse my Miss Little Minnie Quinn. I am unfortunately a part of the night class, but also too fortunately because I absolutely adore my teacher. So you'll see me combine all the 3 sections of the finished braid, and I'll take a little bit of hair also that's underneath it, just to add a little bit more length, a little bit more va-va-voom, and I will be tying that into a ponytail. This is going to be our first chignon. So kind of similar to like Ray's hairstyle. I've noticed that those types of loose buns have been super popular. Loose but like very, very elegant buns. Yes, those are called chignons. It is a French-based hairstyle. And what I do is I'll take a ponytail. I'll ponytail the end of that ponytail as well, and then I roll it upwards. I'll kind of show you more, hopefully, what I end up doing with it onto the side. And so, well, I went to go make sure I had enough hair ties, as well too as one of my rat tail combs as well for this, because you do want to tease the hair a little bit. So you'll see me making sure that all my supplies are in order. Making sure, yep, to tease that rat tail comb. Using the rat tail comb rather. That way I can ensure that the hair is a thick, full, in place, and also too it goes where I need it to be. So I'll split the hair into a couple of sections, and I will tease that and then slightly brush it out. That way it looks very controlled. You will see my friend's client walk past me. She was mentioning something about the hair being absolutely beautiful, so you'll see a little like proud, happy face as it's all coming together, looking very nice, very elegant, but still definitely a work in progress for sure. Yeah, don't do that still with the hair ties. It's not nice, it's not pretty. I do it because I'm tired and it's so late at night that I don't care anymore. But if you are a cosmetology student, you are doing this for your career, you don't necessarily want to be opening things with your hands, with your teeth. You don't want to open things with your mouth or with your teeth. However, when needs must, I am not that picky. However, State Board will be. So keep that in mind. And I am currently explaining to a classmate what I'm doing. Since I do like to do a lot of intricate hairstyles like this, because I do like doing wedding themed hair. I like doing TV themed hair, hairstyles from like TV shows, movies, trying to see not just whether I can, but like if I can, and I usually do or pull off something very similar. So I was explaining to her kind of my process throughout it. I am probably going to speed that up a little bit just so that you guys don't have to deal with that as much. From here, now you'll see me kind of, as I'm rolling it up, pinning it into the back. And I may grab a couple of extras as well to hold it down when, where, and as needed. That way I can make sure that the hairstyle is going to last and hold through any length or duration of time. What I'm also doing too, and you don't have to do this, but I like adding a little bit more like textural things, some fun things to look at within a hairstyle when I have pieces that I'm going to be pulling back that don't necessarily like go together. So like a double chignon, I'll add in some braids just to kind of make it a little bit more fun and a little bit more cohesive. And you'll see me rocking out to some music. I believe I do have an ear pod in on my left ear, so if you see me just kind of jamming out as well throughout this, that would be why. And I do it on both sides just to make sure that it's even, symmetrical, that way it looks decent, and it has that very nice symmetry going on. And once I have tied and gathered everything together, I'm going to put it in a ponytail, and I'm going to begin the process for the second chignon. And while you may not necessarily be able to see, you take hair at the base of the scalp and you put that in as close and as tight as possible. You add in another one closer to the end strands of your hair, another ponytail, and then you just roll it up underneath and you pin it in place. And so I hope that that's able to give you a little bit of a better understanding of how to do a chignon, since I clearly don't show it to you, which I can absolutely do another video of how to do it, chignons, maybe next week or so. But once again, I am back combing or teasing the hair just to make sure that everything stays in place. I don't usually like using hairspray to make everything hold, and I'm going to skip through this for just 1 second. Anyways, hopefully I got that kind of fixed. You might not notice until the end, so stick around till the end, I guess, if you wanted to see what I had to edit out. It was a classmate being very, very funny. But I was not that amused since it was so late at night. And that was me explaining, girl, I am recorded. And they will be seeing all of that at the end. So hopefully she's watching this. And I think the end should be coming up pretty soonly or so. And that's me now being very suspicious when I see her walking back and forth, so you'll see me kind of double check and glance over just to make sure she ain't doing nothing else. And this is pretty much very close to the end. What I'm doing now is I'm just making sure that the pieces for the chignons lie exactly where I want to and lie exactly how I want them to, holding them in place with the bobby pins, just to make sure that everything is all held in place together very nicely. And I'm grabbing as many as needed, and trust me, when your mannequin or when your client has layers, you're going to want to use a lot to make sure that these hairs, these little flyaways, are nicely tucked away neatly, especially with this particular hairstyle, and especially if you're trying to emulate the character Morgan Elsbeth. She is very prim, very proper. Her hair is not very messy at all. However, that type of primness is just not something that I'm very fond of. I always like a really messy hairstyle,